I have to give credit to Angel City. I thought they came out and played a very good game today. Moved the ball around well, created problems for us all over the field, and it was a quality side today. And we just didn't match their intensity. And actually, well, if I go back to the first 10 minutes or so, we had some opportunities there early on. And what I told the team is we got to be better in their final third. Final third decisions and putting things away. First 15, 20 minutes, we had a few chances. Then toward the end of the game, we made some changes. It added some energy and a little bit more structure. And then we had opportunities there at the end. But at the end of the day, Angel City had a great performance today, and they were just the better team.
Paul, go ahead. Paula Margarita in 10 a.m. Let's talk about how important this tournament for you guys as a new club and the experience for the players, and also have a question in Spanish. Ustedes van a estar enfrentándose con América el próximo viernes. Qué importante es prepararse para ese juego y la experiencia de estar con un equipo internacional. Gracias, buenas noches.
Gracias. So it's exactly what we're using this tournament for. We said we want to give minutes and playing time to some of our younger players that haven't gotten the experience. And there's no better way than going out here and playing an excellent team, just like they last week when they played San Diego. San Diego, I think, had most of their starters on the field. And we are counting on all of our younger players to help us through the playoffs, because we're gonna shoot for that, right? And I know we're gonna make the playoffs. So we're gonna need every single player to make a difference. So the fact that they have these opportunities, this is excellent for the Summer Cup, at least for us. That's how we're looking at it. And then it also allows us to rest some of our players that have gotten a lot of minutes. So it's just managing that, and so it served a purpose. Obviously, we're all competitors, and we would like to get a win, but it didn't go that way. And para el juego contra la Club América es muy importante para nosotros ganar ese último juego, porque ahora va a estar más cerca a la liga cuando jugamos contra Utah. Yo le dije al equipo, ahora ya experimento un poco, ¿verdad? Y ahora vamos a ir con un juego muy fuerte con Club América, que es un equipo muy excelente, y ahora ya veremos, y porque la verdad nos necesitamos preparar muy bien. Pero lo más importante es prepararnos para Utah. Y entonces tenemos que tener un buen juego con Club América. Y eso va a ser lo que vamos a tratar de hacer.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Other questions? Christian?
What is that, emotional swing like when you guys did 3 really good shots in the first 4 minutes, and then you have kind of an inadvertent own goal and all that work, and you end up down 1-0?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's that's football for you, but with experience and time, you're able to overcome that, right? Because that's going to happen from game to game. But there was a huge change after that. We had those opportunities, as you mentioned, and we just didn't put that away. Then we had an own goal, and for whatever reason, which is something we don't see often from this team, we just kind of got a little deflated. And all of a sudden, they just started running at us. So they kind of rose up, and we dropped the level. And then that's where it created all sorts of problems for us. And then we had to solve it later on in the game. But yeah, incredibly frustrating as a coach because, hey, we came out to play. We've got this young group. We're getting in there. We're creating chances. And creating corner kicks. It's going to come. It's going to come. And all of a sudden, just like that. But, hey, that's the game. We should be able to understand we're having a good run. We're creating things. Let's not change anything we're doing. And for whatever reason, then we started kind of falling back. Gave them space, and then that's when you give this team space because they do play some good football, then they're just knocking it around us. So, yeah, incredibly frustrating, but it's something that, yes, we're a young team, but I don't even consider that anymore. We're halfway through the season. We're in that 8th spot. Like, no, we belong here, and we can play against anyone in this league, and I've been saying it. So now we've got to find a way, regardless of what happens. If things aren't going our way, we have to kind of turn the tide, right, and deal with that adversity that's thrown at us. So we'll get better.
Oh, yeah. Brian and then Charlotte?
Because you alluded to it there, and we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, that you were going to use this to see what you have. So you've played 2 games in this. What have you seen of some players that, okay, I didn't know maybe I had that, and now I've got to see a lot more of them?
Right, so you can't just go off one game or even the second game because this is what also plays into it. Some of these younger players played 90 minutes just a week ago. It's the first time they've played 90 minutes. And to ask them to now play another 90 minutes or even 60 minutes is actually quite a bit of on their bodies. And so this game, it was a little bit more we're looking for is how did they respond up here? Because we knew physically they may not have that energy, but were they able to cope with it? And I thought some of them could have done a much better job, but we understand that this is their second time that some of them have just been thrown into, one of the best leagues in the world. And so I'm not going to go and mention any individual names, but we've seen players that we were very happy with and that they've performed. And there's some that are like, okay, they just need a little bit more time, right? And now we have to, as a staff, find a way to get them those minutes, and they have to earn it as well. Have to earn it in practices, and when they get the opportunities in the field, once the league starts, then just like I always go back to Kiki. Playing, she comes in, she steps in, but some of those players, just have done well, but they just have to continue to impress.
So can I have
One follow.
Yeah, can I have a quick follow-up? So they threw an extra game in at you. One of the yeah, I know one of the best women's teams out there playing. And so it's in between two road matches there. Are you going in? I know you use this tournament to see kind of maybe what you had behind you. Are you going to use that one to see how your starters stack up against one of the best teams in the world?
Haven't gotten there yet.
Okay.
Been thinking about it quite a bit. First of all, what a great opportunity for us to play FC Barcelona. As you said, the best women's team in the world, and it'll be a great test for us. But our ultimate goal is let's make playoffs. Let's win an NWSL championship. And you're right, it's right in the middle between Utah, tough place to go and play and then fly out, and then we've got Portland, correct? Yeah, it's Portland right afterwards. An excellent team. So we're still trying to figure out how we're going to manage that. Great opportunity for the club, but we have to make sure that we do what's best for our team and the playoff run.
Cheryl, go ahead. You got into the frustration of the own goal earlier. How would you overall evaluate the defense tonight?
Well, up until that game goal, I thought we were solid defensively, and then as the game went on, they did create some problems for us with Ensley coming into the midfield, Vignola getting high, and we were giving them too much time. So it's not necessarily the defense in the back, it's the lack of pressure that we applied in the midfield and further up the field. And then that created more opportunities for them. So defensively, I thought that we were sound with our back four, but overall as a team, could be much better.
Mark, go ahead.
Coach, as you said, this is a tournament where you want to evaluate your own players, and I think a couple of them struggled tonight about mentioning names, but one in particular that played well, especially in the second half, was Savy, and we just kind of thought about her performance and how she kind of just led the charge and was kind of picking everyone up in that second half.
Yeah, no, I mean, and this is exactly what we're asking of Savy, is to be more aggressive, to get forward, to have an impact on the field, both defensively and in the attack. And we know she can defend against anyone in the world. 1v1, she's excellent. But what you saw in that second half, once we started kind of getting a little bit more control of the ball, because we didn't necessarily have that early on in the game, so it's hard to ask that of her, but once we had a control, she was getting forward, she was creating chances for us, and Alyssa did it on the left side as well when she came in, right? That's why she's been playing a lot for us as well. But credit to Savy, she read the right moments to get forward, and it was a combination of us having a much better second half, the second part of the second half, and then her just having that mentality that I've got nothing to lose, let's go forward and let's create chances, and hopefully she continues to do that rest of the season.
Let's take one last one. Christian, want to wrap us up on this one?
How did Princess's activity change things for you guys in the second half?
Well, as you can see, Princess is a very talented player. She only played 30 minutes because she was only limited to 30 minutes. She went to Ghana with the national team, came back injured, and this week she only practiced twice. Right, so we only had her for 30 minutes. I was really excited to give her a lot more minutes. I wanted her to play against San Diego because she had a great game before she left for the international break, and she came back. She came back injured, so a little disappointing because she has that quality. she can beat anyone 1v1. Now, it's also her decision making because she'll do some incredible things, but then now it's also utilizing her players. And that's why it's important that we give her minutes. But unfortunately for this game, we were limited, and the medical staff made it very clear that she could only play 30 minutes, and I wanted to throw her in there a lot longer, but I'll pick and choose my battles.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Good evening, guys. Regardless of the result, as a player, how important is to participate in this tournament? Now you guys are going to be facing Club America. I would like to change and thank you.
Yeah, I think this tournament is important. One, for the whole team, obviously. We've had some ups and downs throughout the season, so we're just trying to continue to build on our flow and our chemistry and just trying to find ways to score and to get the wins. So I think this tournament is a good way just to continue to play games. I think secondly, it's really good and important for players who normally don't get to see minutes to have their moment on the field and to show up. And, you know, we as a team couldn't perform day in, day out on the field without the whole team, all 26 players. So it's so important for them to get those moments. And I mean, I think that they've really done well. They put in the work every single day at practice. So we're just super grateful and want to support everyone on the field. So it's just really nice. And like Maddie getting her first goal last game, and a lot of girls getting their first starts and just a lot of minutes. It's helping boost their confidence, their morale, and just solidifying us as a team and making us better.
Well,
Kayla, it seemed like you were really trying to lead by example out there, especially defensively. You were all over the place, throwing yourself in front of shots all over the place, just sliding in front of shots. How important was that for you, and did you feel like it gave you guys a little bit of a spark?
Honestly, my first half, I just didn't think I performed very well. I couldn't really connect a lot of passes. So for me, when I'm having those off days and things that just aren't going my way, I know one thing that I can control is my defensive abilities. And so I just knew that I had to really focus and hone in on those. Like, you can't have a perfect game every game. So I just knew I had to show up defensively and help the team in that way. And so second half, I think I did a lot better defensively, which kind of translated then to my confidence offensively and finding those pockets. And I think as well, we just weren't as afraid in the second half. We were playing more free. People were moving for each other. When we are selfless in our movements and moving for each other, I think that's when we're at our best. And I think you saw it a little bit more in the second half. So yeah, whatever I can do to just help the team. And at times, you know, we hit lulls and we were quiet. And so just trying to be that voice and just trying to help boost morale is important to me. And I'll take on that role any given day.
Savy, I noticed with you in the second half that even they controlled that first 15 minutes, they were getting a lot of chances. Is even throughout that first 15 minutes of the second half, you seemed like you were still the one who was kind of taking charge, winning those one-on-one battles and then starting a counter the other way. Did you feel that you needed to do that at halftime, or what, any adjustments that you thought on yourself that you needed to do that you kind of were able to like be one of the best players in that second half?
I mean, yeah, I think it's just building into the game, and like winning my individual battles is all that I can do, and bringing the energy that I can to help the team. You know, it takes all of us to win, and I think it comes from an individual standpoint of bringing your best and bringing your best energy. And like for me, like as a defender, that's winning my 1v1 battles and like being aggressive and winning the first tackle and kind of setting the tone for the game. And I think that like, yeah, I mean, putting in those first tackles definitely like kind of sets the tone for like myself in the game and defensively. And I think that the energy of that kind of plays off into other players as well, which I think is really good for us to kind of build into the game and give players more confidence. Because like Kayla was saying at the beginning, like there's a lot of players that this is the first time that they're kind of getting a lot of minutes, and I think it's important for us all to like build chemistry with each other on the field. And I think that it's been really good to play with new players and to build that. And I think it's just making the team stronger, and like with that, like everyone's more confident winning the 1v1 battles and individual battles.
And something we've been talking a lot as a team recently is having that edge and having that bite. And a lot of the times I think it's almost easier in the defensive part to showcase that and to highlight that just through your actions. And I think a lot of us, at least in the second half, we're kind of showing that a little bit more, and we're trying to find that in a consistent way and on a consistent basis. So it's something we're working on as a team, but I think if we can continue to do that, we'll win more games.
Charlotte, did your question?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to make a judgment based off 2 games, but is there anything you feel like you've learned or improved on through Summer Cup so far?
That was Savy's first summer cup game, so we should take that.
I think building on those relationships, because some players are playing in their first games, like we said, but even players who have played in a lot of games, and in these games you have a different lineup, and so you're building those relationships and forming those connections, and I think we're always kind of learning that, and if there's a different winger than you're not used to, like, you have to just kind of figure out in the game, and I think that we're doing that, and I think that's something that is hard, and I think a lot of players would say it's difficult, but it's something that's also exciting because it is new. So I think that's something that we're currently trying and learning from, and I think another thing is obviously some set pieces defensively we need to do better at. We have had mental lapses in the regular season on set pieces, and I think it's kind of coming in a little bit in this tournament too. So it's something, again, we're trying to focus on and just know that it's something that we have to do better at.
Yeah, and I mean also not playing in the first game, not being there. I think that it was cool to watch. I think there's a lot of positives to take away from both games, regardless of the result. And I think it's just building on top of that every game and learning from it. You know, I think losses aren't necessarily always a bad thing. There's always learning that comes with it. And I think that each game is presenting us like new things that we can work on. And I think that's always a good thing going into season, because these games are like preparation for season. So they're not something that's taken lightly. So I think, yeah, I mean, we're not getting the results that we want, but I think that there's still positives that come with it, and I think it's just keeping our head high and then looking into our game against Club America in the next game.
Right.
So Savy, as the season has kind of gone on there, you know, kind of stop seeing the getting caught too far up there. Coach mentioned earlier that, you know, you're knowing when to get forward and you're getting back on time and such. This transition from amateur to being professional footballer, where do you feel like you're in that progression now?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm 19. I'm still really young, and there's a lot to learn. And like, I was a center back in college, so it's been a transition of going back into outside back. But I mean, yeah, it's just everything's a learning experience for me, and especially having some of the players that have more experience. It's been really helpful to learn from them, and also obviously from Albertin and our coaching staff of those, like, what you just said. And I think, yeah, I mean, game after game, it's gotten better because I'm learning. And I mean, yeah, I mean, I am still 19. There's a lot more that I have, and you know, I'm excited to keep learning and to keep growing. And yeah, and that's a testament to who I have next to me and who's helping me through that. And yeah, I mean, it's just a learning experience.
She's being humble. I mean, not a lot of 18 and 19. You turned 19 this year, so she is just a baby, but I mean, she doesn't play like it at all. And even though you are young, I think that you can't see it on the field through your actions, especially like you said, the defensive work. And I think the hardest thing is offense. Like, and we are also learning too. Like the fact every single day, like I still honestly want to get better, and I'm. How old am I? like, oh my God, 26, 27, but, you know, and so I'm just continuing to get better. So you have such a high ceiling, and I think that she's proving herself every single day, and I'm impressed, and I think, yeah, just take those wins, man. You be a little confident, all right?
Yeah, question for both of you. We talked a little bit about how much the lineup is changing. What's the challenge when, you know, you're rotating through subs, a lot of players are in and out, and just having to, I don't know, is there even time to form chemistry when the lineup changes 7 times a game?
It's difficult, yeah. It's definitely difficult, but I think we're obviously not the only team that's dealing with that. I mean, throughout the season and throughout this tournament, it's happening. So it's what team can handle that the best and still put out their best performance. So, yeah, it's something. It's not easy, and yeah, I would say it's difficult.
Yeah, it's not easy by any means, and I think that it's just, you know, we have a lot of depth on this team, and I think it's just trusting each other and knowing that whoever is starting, whoever's in that position or in your position, and whoever's coming into the game is going to make an impact, and it's just knowing that and trusting that. And I think, yeah, I mean, playing with different people is difficult because everybody has what they are used to, or like their strengths and weaknesses that may be different than someone else's, and I think it's kind of learning that and like adapting to that, but like that's a lot easier said than done. But I think that at the end of the day, it just makes us better players of like in the game, like adjusting to those types of circumstances. But I mean, yeah, I think it's a pretty normal thing to go like for lineups to change. It's a long season. It's a really long season, and like it's gonna rotate. And you know, it's all at the end of the day, it's just all of us being there for each other and supporting each other and putting our best foot forward on the field for our teammates. And yeah, I mean, just the supportive aspect is super important.
Yeah, and I think we have high standards as a team, and we're trying to hold each other accountable. So no matter who's the first 11 out on that field, it doesn't matter. We have the game changers coming in every single game, and so we're still going to hold each other to those high standards. But at the same time, like we do that by supporting each other and picking each other up when one person's down or making mistakes. It's like, no, like we're rallying behind you and we're picking you up, and like the communication is so important and the motivation and the inspiration, and I think that we're really trying to do that, and we feed off of it.
Let's take a couple more. Jeff?
There you go. You both kind of alluded to this, kind of being a learning experience, especially for first-year team, for first-year club. What has been the biggest takeaway from you all coming up to this point of the campaign, I guess, that you guys can take going forward to Club America and then you guys return to league play?
Like from the whole season, you mean? Like,
yeah, what's been the biggest takeaway? Because it seems like the theme of the year, because results have kind of really been up and down.
Yes.
What's been the biggest takeaway? It does feel like a season of learning compared to like how other teams just could come in and just won't have a dominant season or whatever. It does seem that there's a lot more to what this club is going to be going forward in this season and such.
I feel like for me, my answer might be a little bit different because like I am a rookie and I don't know anything different than being a part of an expansion team. But obviously, like that comes with a lot of different obstacles than it would be being a part of a team that is already established. And I think that for us, it's kind of been just rolling with the punches. You know, we've gone through a lot this season, the ups and downs, and I think it's just our ability to stick together. And I think that because of everything that we've been through this season so far, it's just kind of building that chemistry off the field, I think, is really important because I think that translates onto the field. And like, yeah, we have each other, right? Like at the end of the day, we're all playing for the same club. We all wear the same crest, and I think that that's super important for us to stick together through it all and not let anything else that's happening affect us. And I think that like that's been the biggest takeaway for me, at least, has been to just like trust in the process and like know that like it's gonna come together, and we're an expansion team, and I think that for us to be in a playoff position right now in league is saying something. And yeah, I mean there's a lot more to come, and I think that that's a really positive thing.
All I can say is we're finding our way, and you just alluded to it at the end, but we're not performing our best and we're not getting all the results that we want, yet we're still in playoff contention. And that just goes to show like we're still in this, and we still have a lot to prove, but by no means are we out of the race. And I think as an expansion side, like it's very hard to make the playoffs in the first place, but like we're right there. And so just knowing that we haven't even performed at our best and we haven't even done that consistently just means we have a lot to improve and prove, and just like a high ceiling for us as a team. So I mean, I'm excited for the second half of the season.
Last two, we'll take William and then Charlotte to wrap us up.
And then, as you had mentioned, it's obviously been a year of learning, but it's also been a year of big games for you guys. I mean, of course, there's the game at Wrigley, and now you guys just got Barcelona added to the friendly, even though it is a friendly. How exciting is it to be a part of all these big games?
It's super cool. I mean, also, I'm a little biased just being from Chicago, but that Wrigley game was insane. I still just get chills from that game, and I had talked with my grandma afterwards, and she grew up, and my mom grew up in Wrigley, so she was just saying, you know what, you're 1-0 on Wrigley Field. Like, how many people can say that? You can say that for the rest of your life. So being in those big moments on those big stages is just such a cool and unique opportunity that, and it's rare. Not everyone gets to go through it. So, I mean, with that, we got that result, and that was awesome. Going into knowing that we have the Barcelona game, we're super excited. I mean, Barcelona is in one of the best, if not the best team in the world. And so we are really excited. We want to be a global club, and we have to compete with the other global clubs. So it's exciting, and yes, definitely circled, I think, on our calendar. And there's a lot of buzz right now on the team.
I mean, yeah, it's been a historic season for us in general of just being an expansion team and, like, obviously hitting our little milestones of our first win, our first shutout, our first goal, all of that kind of stuff. And I think that, like, it's really exciting that we've been able to also be a part of such historic events. And I think that like, I mean, it's really cool as an expansion club, especially to show the world that we're in it and we're ready, and even though it's our first year, that we're putting up a fight and that we have a lot to prove. And I think that pressure is a privilege at the end of the day. And I mean, I'm super excited. Barcelona, it's crazy. Like, it's, you never think that you'll ever be able to play against Barcelona being here. I mean, in the so it's like, it's awesome. And it's like those types of games are the ones that you dream of, and it's really cool that like it's happening here at our home stadium. And I think that it's gonna be a great game, great atmosphere, and a great opportunity, honestly, to kind of bring, not like, I mean, I guess the world together. And I think it's really cool that like we're given the opportunity to do that. So
Charlotte, last one. Obviously the own goal was frustrating, but you guys got into how you were able to find that bite in the second half. What do you think was key to getting you guys to shift into gear?
I think movement off the ball, and those selfless actions were important, and I think that we showcased that a little bit more in the second half. I think more confidence, and I think we keep talking about it, but players wanting the ball, even in the middle of the field, even in tight situations, even in the 6-yard box in our own half. Like, it's wanting the ball in those moments, and our coaches encourage us to do that. And if a mistake happens, like, a mistake happens, but that's the kind of culture and soccer philosophy we're trying to build here. And so I think that that's what we really bought into more in the second half. I think credit to LA, they pressured us quite high in the first half and throughout the entirety of that half, which made us a little bit more difficult or maybe a little bit more frazzled. But again, it's finding our way and working together as a unit, and it just kind of clicked a little bit more in the second half.
All right, perfect. We'll wrap on that. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
ladies, for your
Thanks,
time.
guys.
thank you.
Don't forget